What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. Let's address the elephant in the room. I have a new microphone. My other one broke. So if the audio sounds worse or different, that's why. Sorry for being a little clunky. We'll get the other one fixed as soon as I can, but we're going to have to deal with this one for now. Now, today we're going to be talking about my most controversial opinion in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I guess I should give you guys some context. I started playing the game back when it first came out for a very long time, and then I started taking a lot of breaks, and now I'm back playing it consistently yet again. So I have a very interesting take, I guess, when it comes to the game. I've been around for a while, and so I guess when it comes to this thing specifically, it's really, I don't know, I'm very mixed on it. And I know it's a very controversial opinion because every single time I've brought it up to someone else, they always look at me really weird. And I guess I'm going to make this video to talk about why I feel this way, how I feel, and all that stuff. So if you are excited and you're interested and you want to see more, like and subscribe, make me feel happy because I literally went through hell these last few days to get this microphone working, even though it was broken. And that would make me feel great. So now let's get started into the video. Oh, by the way, also we have a brand new Discord server. I want to shout that out. It's super cool and awesome. Right here, we have a brand new XP system with where am I looking? We have a XP system. Where is it? Yeah, we have a progression system. We have a bunch of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes discussions happening all of the time. Meta mods and all that stuff. So check it out if you haven't already. Anyways, so Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has been around since 2015. A lot of stuff was in the game, or is in the game now, that wasn't at launch. For example, Gear 12, I think, was the max level for a very long time, if I'm not mistaken. Because when the game first came out, Lando Calrissian was my most powerful character. He was at Gear 12. Why was he at Gear 12? Don't ask me that question. Lando was my best character when the game first came out. And so having all of how the game has evolved, and you can see my roster is starting to evolve. I'm catching up. That's the whole point of my channel. Anyways, point being, I've been here for a minute now. And something I'm not a huge fan of are Galactic Legends. That is a hot take. I understand that. I don't like them, not because of how powerful they are or how long it takes to farm them. Although, I mean, secretly, that's kind of part of it. I don't like how long it takes to farm them. However, I completely understand why it takes that long, because it would not be very fair if CG just ran around handing out Galactic Legends, the most powerful characters in the game, only for it to be farmed in like 3 months. I understand that. That makes sense. However, I'm really not a huge fan of how they've taken over the game. If you don't have a Galactic Legend and you're fighting against one, you really have to have invested a lot into a team to be able to beat it, or you have to have another Galactic Legend. And a lot of people rush Galactic Legends now. A lot of people just focus, completely focus the roster on Galactic Legends, and sometimes they'll leave ships behind and stuff like that. It's very frustrating. I don't like that process. However, even more specifically, the requirements. Some of the requirements I completely understand, but also I feel like it's kind of annoying. Like, okay, I understand Palpatine, Vader, Royal Guard, Sidious, Maul, Dooku, Anakin, Thrawn, and Tarkin. Those all make sense as prerequisites. Their character lore-wise, they match up. They were very close to Palpatine. They make sense. However, some of these characters are really annoying to farm. Director Krennic? Why do I have to farm Director Krennic? Now again, I understand Imperial Officer, and this is Emperor Palpatine. Well, Sith Eternal Emperor. I understand that. I understand that's the whole point of it. However, the thing I just hate most about Galactic Legends is how their requirements usually don't really match up with their team. Sith Empire or Sith Imperial, what's his name? Sith Eternal. With him, you're gonna run Wat Tambor and the Armorer most of the time for a team. why are we doing some of this stuff? I think it's frustrating. With Luke, he can go with Revan, a Yoda, Jedi Knight Luke, characters like that. You can see with a Jedi Master Luke Skywalker all the time. But then you have to farm characters like Wedge and Biggs and Lando. Now, pause before you guys comment. I completely understand why CG does this. Moolah. I get it. All right. I understand that you need to relic up these characters because nobody has them relicked and they want to make every character useful in the game in some way. Cool. Love it. That's a great idea. Why is Wedge and Biggs Darklighter not a good character for Luke Skywalker? Now that sounds weird if you don't really think about it, but I'm going to try and explain this the best way I can. I feel like the prerequisites for a GL should be the team that you're going to use the GL for. And you can do some theory crafting and make the team better. But if I'm going to farm a GL for 7, 8, 9 months a year, I want the characters I'm farming to actually be beneficial to the character I'm farming. Afra, pretty much, I believe all the characters in there are beneficial towards her, right? I can double check. I haven't checked out the Afra event in so long. Afra. Yeah, Sound of Star Wars is her own team, but I think you use these characters. Well, Hondo can float around, but 000, BT1, obviously they go in here. I understand Sound of Star Wars having those characters as a requirement makes sense. Comic book characters, stuff like that, makes sense. There's not too many of them. I know they're a pain to farm, probably because of pyrotex and whatever, but I get it. All of those characters are related to her lore-wise or are useful for her team. Let's look at another example of this. What is another example of what I'm trying to show you guys? Revan. Beautiful example. If you're trying to build up an Old Republic team, this gives you you farm all the characters to get an Old Republic team. Jedi Revan goes better with a Jedi team, but you get a Old Republic team out of it. I'm not farming Grandmaster Yoda and Jedi Knight Guardian to get, old Jedi Revan here. I'm farming characters that I can use Revan with. And again, he goes with the Jedi team most of the time now, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Darth Revan is a little bit different here because you don't really use Hearth, you don't really use Canderous, you don't really use HK anymore, you don't really use Johani. So that's like a perfect comparison right there of Dark Side Old Republic and then Light Side Old Republic. Light Side Old Republic, okay, sure, Revan doesn't really go there anymore, but it could go there. With this Darth Revan team, I don't really feel like you're going to use these characters together very often. You're going to use Basil Shan Fallen, you're going to use Darth Malak, Malgus. Obviously, those characters came later, but you get what I'm saying. You're building up teams that are useful towards the character. And sometimes you don't have to build a team that's useful towards the character. Chewbacca, you build up bounty hunters, the basic bounty hunters. That's what I call them in my streams. If you haven't joined the streams, by the way, they're a ton of fun. Definitely recommend checking them out. Executor and Chewbacca, you build up the basic bounty hunters. Boba Fett, Bosk, Dengar, IG-88, Jango, and Cad Bane. Those are my basic bounty hunters that I refer to all the time. But when you build a team that works together, I totally understand it. But my issue with these Galactic Legend farms is you have to farm to Relic 4. You're not going to use to Relic 4 in a Jabba team. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. I wish that there was some clause, some or something in their GL's kits that gave prerequisites to the character above. So some of these prerequisites totally make sense. Skiff Guard Lando, Bausch Leia, Fennec. Fennec, sure. I mean, you're going to use these characters with their kits, so I get that. But then, Mob Enforcer, like Jawa. Like, you're not going to use these characters with Java. That's what I'm saying. Is I wish that I didn't have to farm these useless characters. I wish they weren't useless. That's what I should be saying. I'm happy to farm characters that are needed to get a GL, but if I'm going to farm the characters, I want them to be useful somewhere. I want to feel like I can use them with the GL, like they belong somewhere. I mean, obviously, belongs with the Tuscans, and Jawa belongs with the Jawas, and Mob Enforcer belongs in the trash bin, and I understand that. That's just where these characters are. I just wish that there was something that gave these GLs a little bit more feeling they're like the prerequisites are beneficial towards the end result. And if that means that they have to buff the characters in the GL's kit, like specifically, like call out in a unique, say, oh, Jawa and Mob Enforcer get super buffed or something like that, and turn them into like options for the team that you can switch out depending on who you're fighting against, I think that would be really cool. I just hate that I have to farm these characters that I don't want to farm, that don't really make any sense to me, and sometimes have ridiculous relic requirements, but I understand why. CG wants to get those numbers and that money up. I understand that's how the game works. I just wish the GLs made the prerequisites more useful to the character. Kylo Ren is a perfect example. Almost every character on here can be used with Kylo Ren. Now, there's better combinations than others, but the only ones that are not first order on here is Han Solo and Palpatine. Those are like the only characters on here that are not first order. This is just first order through and through. And Rey is pretty much just resistance through and through, I believe. Double check. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. It's pretty much just resistance through and through. And I wish more GLs did that, where you could use them with the GL, but maybe you can find a better option. Dude, who is using Jawa and Mob Enforcer with Java? You know, who is using, I'm just clicking on it, Tuscan Raider for a Lord Vader team? Like, it's a lore thing, but I wish that Newt Gunray and Arc Trooper, I wish that they had something towards the kit that made the requirement that I'm building towards worth it for the GL, I guess. I don't know if this video is going to land. This is my most controversial opinion in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes by a mile. I understand the arguments against this. I understand what you guys are going to say. I just feel like laser focusing on GLs is eliminating so many other teams that you could be building for this one team that's really good. And you have to build up all this extra stuff that you're never going to use, that aren't useful anywhere. It's just frustrating. I feel like it's frustrating or random, and it just makes the process longer. And again, the game's got to make money. I understand how it works, but that's just my opinion. That's what I'm saying. So I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this opinion, and I know what you guys are going to say. I understand completely. I've talked about this before. I've made this argument before. It's my most controversial opinion. That's why I'm making this video. It's just, as a player who sees the game now and where it was when the game first launched, when you could just build towards gas, or you can just build towards Revan, you know, you're building up teams for these characters that make sense. I'm not building up and Jawa and all this other stuff, I guess. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm not a huge fan of the GLs because of the farms and the impacts it has on the roster, and how focused the game is around getting GLs. That's really what this video is. If you agree with me, please let me know, because I know I'm going to be in the minority for this one. So I appreciate you guys watching until this point, and I'll see you in the next one. And oh my God, I'm scared for this comment section. Jesus fucking Christ.